Hey guys, welcome. Today we're going to be taking a look at my current New York Central locomotive collection. This should be a slightly longer video, and my goal is to show you guys some of the engines that have not been featured on the channel as of yet, and give you guys a little bit of history about how I came to acquire it and the general model and running. So without any further ado, let's get straight into it. Alrighty, so the first engine that we're going to be talking about is this Marx 6096 Hudson. One thing that should be noted is that this engine is definitely more of a toy than it is a model. That being said, the performance does not disappoint. This has a very smooth drive, and even though half of the drivers are plastic, as you can probably see right there, it still delivers a very smooth performance. Now, pulling power is aided by the use of a single traction tire on the rearmost driver, and even though the valve gear is basic, it sure looks good in motion. This is the next engine we're going to be taking a look at. This is another oddball. This is American Flyer's 446 Hudson. This is a solid die-cast engine, much like the Marx. However, as you can probably see, this is a little bit closer to a model. The valve gear is still extremely basic, and even though this drive system was an absolute pain, it runs pretty well now, and it certainly looks the part. The marker lights are pretty unique to this model, and I really can't complain. These American Flyer engines are built very, very tough, and this engine has certainly been through quite a lot. But as you can see, it certainly looks good, and as you'll see a little bit later, it certainly runs as good as it looks. Alright, so this next model that we're going to be taking a look at is Riva's classic J3A Hudson. This is the standard line version with the cab-mounted motor, and this engine has caused me so much trouble I don't even want to get into it. But on the bright side, as for now, it works, and it works pretty well. Obviously, as soon as I say that, something catastrophic is going to go wrong with it. But yeah, this isn't the best example of its class, but it still looks the part, and as of now it runs pretty well. And this next engine may look identical to the last one, and be it, it's very similar, but this is actually quite a rare beast. This is a Riva Concor Hudson. The main differences are that this one has a red box drive mechanism. But this is not a red box, and we can tell that because it has the Code 100 pizza cutter flanges as well as the silver tires on it. This engine is probably my most run locomotive of any class right now. It's awesome, it's very smooth, be it a bit loud, and I will not be showing too much running of this guy in this video simply because I have another video up on it, so if you're curious, please go and check that one out. Now this next engine is truly special to me. This was the second Reverossi I ever got, and it's always been my dream engine. This is, of course, Reverossi's famous standard Dreyfuss Hudson. Now, many people think that they painted these in two different versions, one being a darker version and a lighter version. That is simply not true. If you look at this engine, the plastic has yellowed. There's not a whole lot you can do about that. It just happens with time. A major factor contributing to this is if the model's been displayed and it's in contact with sunlight. This one is extremely yellowed. It's if you put it next to what a gray one should look like, it does look like they attempted to paint this a different color. It's really kind of difficult to find one of these in non-yellowed condition, but this one's so special to me just because of sentimental value that I'll definitely never get rid of this thing. Now, this engine right here is the epitome of what a Dreyfuss Hudson should be. This is, of course, Reverossi's Scullen Dreyfuss Hudson. This has been another one of the engines that I've always been striving to get for my collection, and that finally came true this year. This engine's absolutely stunning, and this is an unyellowed version, and that's because this is a later red box release from the 90s. I think they changed something up with their paint or the plastic compound they used, but this one is as it left the factory, paint color-wise. Of course, this one had a tougher life in the hands of the previous owner. You can see that there's one handrail cinch-on missing right there, a couple of nicks in the paint, but other than that, this engine's extremely smooth, having the red box drive, as does the Concor Hudson. And even though it has a Union Pacific tender, which bugs a lot of people, including my good friend SP Productions, I think it looks great. And you won't be seeing any of this in the running action, and that's again because I have another video up on it. So please, if you're interested about this engine, seeing how it runs, please go and check that out. Up next, we have this wonderful set of model power made by Roco, Baldwin Rf-16 ABA set of sharks. These units are absolutely awesome. I cannot give them enough praise. The best way to describe them is a blue box drive with a much chunkier flywheel. They operate extremely smoothly, and it's really hard to believe that these units are from the 70s or even maybe the 60s. It is important to note that the New York Central did not have any Rf-16s to my knowledge, so this is yet again a fantasy paint scheme. Kind of a shame really, because I really like how the lightning stripe looks on that really pointed front end. I will not be showing too much of this engine running in this video because I have another video up on it. Please go check that one out if you're interested. And last but certainly not least, we have this IHC made by Bahano SD24. Now, once again, New York Central did not roster any SD24s, at least to my knowledge, and if they did, it was certainly not in the lightning stripe paint scheme. That again is a shame because I think it looks really sharp in this paint. Only complaint about this unit, aesthetically wise, is that herald on the front, it's way too big. Looks like the thing is evil and it wants to eat your head off. Drive-wise, it was kind of surprising because I bought this unit and the guy at the stop said that this was a dummy, which, as you just saw, obviously isn't true. But the drive system it's interesting. It has this weird tendency, if it runs for more than 5 minutes, to randomly jerk at low voltage. It's really hard to replicate when the camera is out, but trust me, it happens and it looks like it's having a seizure. That probably is because I'm using an auto pulse transformer, which of course is pulse-based, but other than that, it's a pretty smooth running unit. I don't run it too much just because it's a little bit too modern, but nevertheless, it's really nice to have around. And with that, I want to thank everybody who stuck this long into the video for watching. And yeah, I apologize for the gap in content. Stuff's been getting a little bit busy, but hopefully we should be returning back to a weekly or bi-weekly schedule. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys later.